welcome to Should I Buy This Game, featuring Honeybuzz with the Fall Flavors expansion. My name is Christine, and in this video I'll give you an overview of how the game is played. I'll be showing you what's in that expansion, and then sharing a few things I may like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add the Honeybuzz Fall Flavors expansion to your collection. Here we have the Fall Flavors expansion for Honeybuzz, and this expansion comes with 5 modules, and I'm going to go through each of the modules with you. Now the biggest one, of course, is the Fall Fruit, and we have a new woodland board here. So this board is set up a little different here because it includes having some fruit in it. Now there are these cute little fruit tokens, and these come with the base model. It's not a deluxe component, and they're really cute. It also comes with a new spot here for some fruit orders. And there are multiple orders. You just pick 3 to put on the pile. We also have some new honey names, but it's the same type of chart as the old one. But here we include the fruit. So pumpkins are worth 4 points, pears 3, apples are worth 2 points. And if you sell 3 of the exact same fruit in one go, then you get wherever it is on the market. So the first person to sell 3 fruit would get an additional 7 coins. And then this would get moved down, just like in the regular game with the nectar. But this time there is fruit. So that is the basics to the new fruit harvest board. Then up here we've included leaves. And so you'll see some of these tiles now have leaves on them. You incorporate them into your regular game. So you replace 6 of your original pieces with the new pieces and then just shuffle them up. So you don't always have a leaf. It depends which one you take. There's also different cards. There's these cards here, and they're scoring points at the end of the game, such as here, if you have a pair of those 2 leaves, you get 5 points, and that one would get you 2. So now when you're trying to decide which tiles to pick, you might be thinking about, is there one with a leaf poking up? We move over here. This is the harvest board, and it has these toasts. And again, there's a bunch to choose from. And what you do now is you can retire one of your workers here to get one of these toasts. And these will score you right when you get the card. So 2 per worker of your color. So that's how many workers you have in play. And that when you get this card, at that point, you score the points. 2 per empty cell in your hive, 3 per full set of leaves in your hive. So some of these you might want to do later in the game. So when you see the end of the game coming and you don't need all your workers, you can retire one here and get one of these cards to score the points. You can also retire one here to take any action you want. So if you're playing with multiple people and you would need 4 bees to do something, you could retire one and do any action you would like. Here we have hive caps. So what these are is if you have a bunch of honey or hives that could get honey on your board, when you go to take the accounting action, instead of getting 5 coins, you can get a hive cap. You would put it over top of one of your places where you get honey, and you can no longer make honey there. However, at the end of the game, it's worth 10 points, and then it goes down. And whoever has the most hive caps gets the trophy and gets 5 points. And the last module has to do with ending the game. In the original game, once 2 of the order stacks were done, the game was over. This time, if an order stack becomes empty, this moves down 2. If your resource reaches lowest value, it moves down 1. The last nectar tile is collected. Hive tile stack becomes empty. Last nectar cap is claimed. And festival board becomes full. So if any of these are met, then you would move down until the sun sets. And so you get a little bit extra time to play. You're not just emptying to order piles. And that's all the new elements in the Fall Flavors expansion. If you've never played Honey Buzz, I'll give you a quick overview on how the game is played. You start with 4 starting tiles, and then you take one of these cards. And this is a good starter one. It tells you how to place your tiles and which images to touch. Because what happens is once you fill in a hive, then you can activate any of the little bonuses that are there. So we're going to go over what the bonuses are. This piece here allows you to add a new bee into circulation. This one is a wild, so if you have this, you can do any of the actions. This one allows you to get 5 coins, but also now, as I showed you, you can use it to get a hive cat. Over here, this one allows you to forage for the honey you want, the little nectar tile. This one lets you process or make honey. And this one lets you sell your fruit and your honeys. So they all have different benefits, and you want to have a variety in your beehive. And so you start with one worker, and all you would do is put it at the piece where you want. Now, if you're playing in a 1 or 2 player game, only one bee can come here. You'd still pay 5 coins to get this one, or you could take this one, but there can only be one. It's the same spot. Now, if you wanted to take the same action again, the next time, the next person would need to place 2 bees, then 3 bees, etc. So you can do the action again, you just need more bees to do so. So basically, you're starting by choosing one of these tiles and putting it into your beehive. So I chose this one here so I could get some more bees into work. And so I just want to show you before I place it into my hive. Here we are trying to form the different types of honey. So you're looking at those red lines, and those tell you what type of honey you are forming. So all of these are exactly the same. You're just choosing how to place them to form the honey. So if I was to place it here, then I would be making the strawberry tree honey because of the 2 red areas, and then the sides are empty. So the first thing I would do is do that. So now that I've filled this in, I can do the actions. So my first action is get a new bee. So the bee would go into my little area here, and he'd be ready to go once I retrieve my bees and start fresh. This one here allows me to forage. You're allowed to forage once for free, and then otherwise it costs you 2 coins. So we go up here, and I am looking for that strawberry tree, which happens to be right beside me. So I move my bee 1, and I can take this tile, and you can see that it matches. So I took the right one, and you put it into your hive. This one here allows me to produce the honey. So you take your fan and you put it wherever you'd like. So if you had multiples, you could do multiple honey at once. But since we only have the one, I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to produce my honey. This one here allows me to do any of the actions. So I'm going to sell my honey because I cannot produce again if the honey is still sitting there. So I only have 1 piece of honey at this point. So if we look here, I can't really do any of the orders because you need at least 2 pieces of honey or honey and fruit. And I only have the 1. So over here, you can sell them individually. When you do a 2-player game, it starts, everything starts down a level. So right now, the strawberry tree honey is going for 6 coins. So I'm like, sure, I'm going to take it. So this, once you do that, it moves down. The next person would only get 5 coins. So I get my 6 coins I can add. And at the end of the game, each coin is worth like a point. So right now I would have 11 points if I don't spend them. And then because I sold this honey, it would be put back into the supply. And that would be the end of my turn. So whatever images you have here, that's what gets activated. So you're looking at what type of honey you want to produce in terms of where the lines are and what actions you want to be able to do. And that's when you're picking your tiles, which one you want based on the actions you're hoping to accomplish. Since I only had one bee, I would be done. So on my next turn, I need to retrieve my workers. So I take any workers I have sitting here and I bring it up to the work area. And then I put my other workers that were already up here in that area. So in my next round, I have 2 bees to work with. Now you also have the option to come down here and you can move your bee 1 space. So if you're trying to get closer to something, I cannot activate it, but I can just move it 1 space closer to where I'm trying to get to. Now there's also a solo mode to the game. They have new solo contests that you can work towards. And then they have the solo cards. And so to play solo, you have these 2 bees. There's going to be 1 bee on this side, 1 bee on this side. So when you turn it over, you're going to, one will say market. So you would put your bee at the market. And when the solo bee is there, you cannot actually go there. And then the other one will give you a place. So highest honey and fruit. So you come over here and whatever is at the highest, you can choose. Do you want to, in this case, move the fruit down 1 or do you want to move this down 1? So maybe I would move the fruit down 1. And then it would be your turn again. So then we would turn it again. It's still at the market, so it wouldn't move. And then it says strawberry tree. So we'd come and put the strawberry tree down 1. And then it would be your turn again. And that's just how the solo mode goes. You're basically placing a bee in one of these areas and then either taking an order, taking a tile, or moving the market around. So overall, I really like this Fall Flavors expansion. I personally found Honey Buzz to be a little simple, and it ended so soon after just collecting a few of the orders. So now I really like the addition of the fruit. You have another place for cards, so you can have more choice so a pile doesn't run out instantly. And then just the fruit aspects to it. I like now you have the extra complexity of the leaves to gain bonus points. Here, when you have a lot of workers at the end of the game, you can retire them to gain some extra points. The nectar tiles, and even the way that it takes a little longer for the game to end. I found overall playing it with this expansion was a lot more enjoyable because the game was a lot longer than just the base game, and it gave you so many other things to think about when you're playing the game. So it added a really nice complexity to the game. And I also have to say, once again, I just love these little pumpkins and apples and pears. I think it was so nice that they included these quality pieces in the standard game. So the only thing I really wished every time I've played this game was to have some sort of board to build our hive on. Now I understand, especially with this new game where you're playing longer and your hives are getting bigger, you don't know where it's going to be, but I always felt I would really appreciate a board to work on. But that's just a personal opinion of the game. It doesn't really matter in terms of gameplay. So overall, though, I was trying to think, and I think this new expansion answers a lot of those troublesome things I had with the base game. It just adds so many more levels of complexity that I find it a lot more enjoyable with this expansion. And if it's too much, you can play with only parts of the expansion. They do recommend always playing though with the sunrise event or sunset event in terms of the end of the game. But if you don't want to use some of these things, you don't have to, or you can put them in the game, but you're not obligated to actually take a tile. But you can still have it there as an option. So I think overall the Fall Flavors expansion really does a lot to help the complexity of Honey Buzz. So let me know in the comments if you played Honey Buzz or the expansion and what you think of the game.